I haven't worn underwear in years now.
What?
Yeah.
You just go naked?
Free ball.
Wow.
Yeah. Free ball, because the testicles themselves, when you're compressing them, they're getting less blood flow and less lymph flow. It can actually literally lower your testosterone and impact your sperm count if you have tight polyester material boxes that like scrunch everything up.
Yeah, they really do scrunch it, to be honest, so.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode.
All right, guys, I'm here with Brah. He recently revealed his face, so thanks for coming on, man.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we were just talking before this, and you were pretty much anonymous for the first few years, right?
Yeah, took a while. It was more about the message than about me, myself. But, opportunities like this came about. So I figured unmask and, let myself come into the limelight.
Nice. We just chewed some rosemary together. Mm-hmm. Start off the friendship. What's that about?
So for those that don't know, rosemary is an extraordinary herb. There's so many different uses for it. But particularly when you chew it, you just break a few leaves off and chew it like you would gum. The oil soaks through the gums and hits your brain. It actually acts as a nootropic, a brain enhancer. So it's like this really cool, unique focus. Mostly people think about caffeine, nicotine, and the kind of chemical versions or like processed versions.
Yeah.
But something like this, you just pluck off a plant. It has the same effect. I would even argue a better effect, as well as a whole host of other antibacterial and other such effects in the body. So if you want to do some deep work, chew on some rosemary.
Yeah. I don't know if it's placebo, but I feel something in my head a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
That's funny. So your whole philosophy on health is mainly holistic, right?
Yeah.
No medicine, no Western medicine.
Yeah.
Just all natural.
Okay. You can say like no Western medicine. For the vast majority of things, there exist herbs, for example, or even just different modalities of letting your body do what it is designed to do and heal itself. It knows how to heal itself. And often the times, the state that we find ourselves in now with medications, they are just harming the body or limiting the body's ability to heal itself for the most part. So I always say nature knows best. In nature, things just work. And when we input things like chemicals or different processes, we usually stuff it up. And that's what we're seeing is the cause of most of disease today.
Yeah. I just went to the ER and just witnessing what the nurses were saying to the patients was making me so irritated, dude.
Really? Like what?
Like this one old lady came in with pain, and instead of like addressing the pain and what's causing it, they just gave her a pain shot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, she's going to be back in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's covering the symptom and masking the symptom. And the symptom is actually an indication of what's going wrong. So if you cover up the warning signal, then you're actually just kicking the can further down the road and like not getting to the root cause of the problem. And that's unfortunately what's happening in hospitals today.
Absolutely. When did you realize all this? Did you have a health incident?
Not specifically. My health journey was just a matter of wanting to optimize and perform at a higher level. It started in my teenage years with lifting and bodybuilding and how do I actually get bigger muscles, or what should I be eating and what's healthy and not healthy to eat. And then, since then, it's been a long time, over a decade since I've been researching this stuff and getting to the bottom of it. And as anyone that starts to do their own research can see, society's getting more unhealthy day on day. And then, all the stuff that we're told is mostly a lie that is used to prop up big pharmaceutical profits and things like that.
Right.
So, it doesn't take too much research to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But once you do, you kind of see it everywhere.
So you're on a very interesting diet right now. Talk to me about your diet. It's raw meat, right?
Raw meat is one part of it.
Okay.
So let's start with the raw meat. In general, when you have raw foods, let's say uncooked, you are eating them in their most bioavailable form. When you cook things, think about a fire. What do you get after a fire is all burnt down? You get charcoal.
Right.
It's essentially dead carbon matter that is no comparison to what it was before. It's all been burnt apart. All the carbon bonds have been broken, and you have this waste material. The same principle occurs when you're cooking something. Think about when you overcook a steak. It's dry, it's tough, it's dead, it's hard to eat and hard to digest. Sits in your stomach really badly. So raw foods is kind of just eliminating that process of cooking. When we heat things, we break apart chemical bonds. So for things like enzymes, vitamins, and minerals, they degrade in their nutrition of the food the more that we cook them. And if you want to cook it a little bit, this is the kind of process that I went through. I was cooking most of my meat and food in general. So I was cooking my steak less and less. And then you just get to the point where it's really, really rare, but you're just searing the outside. That's a good way to kind of progress into it. But what I've found is the rawer I had foods, the better digested they would be, the more nutrition I got out of it, and the kind of healthier and like better results I felt in my body.
Wow.
So one day, after reading a guy called Ogenus Vonderplanitz, really, really smart guy who pretty much healed his terminal cancers and things like that from eating primarily raw foods.
Wow.
Yeah, incredible story. But he has a book called We Want to Live, where it just laid out in very detailed terms why raw foods are better. So I just tried it. And when I tried it, what I found is you can eat far less, but your body is getting the nutrition that it needs, so the hunger stops, which is ideally like what we want with food. With junk food, we can eat a bunch of it, but the hunger doesn't go away.
Right.
So we're just eating these calories, and then people get fat. With raw foods, you can eat a lot less. It digests better. I'm putting on more muscle and less body fat than I was before, with no change in my exercise regime or things like that. The other big one is raw dairy. So for people that are unaware, most milk today is pasteurized.
Yeah.
And what that means is it's been put in a vat and heated up to a certain temperature to kill bacteria. That's what they argue is the point of it, to make it safer. It's actually not safer. There are more cases of food poisoning and bacteria outbreaks from pasteurized milk than there are raw milk.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Raw milk itself is just milk that's been, from the cow, no processing done to it, put in a bottle, refrigerated, of course, and then sold to the consumer, and you drink that. It is safe to have. The bacteria inside help you digest the milk itself. So any raw dairy products, raw milk can be made into raw cheese. People that are lactose intolerant, or they think they're lactose intolerant, is usually from having pasteurized milk, because that pasteurized milk doesn't have the bacteria inside it, which...
Are you interested in coming on the Digital Social Hour podcast as a guest? Well, click the application link below in the description of this video. We are always looking for cool stories, cool entrepreneurs to talk to about business and life. Click the application link below, and here's the episode, guys.
breaks down the lactose for you.
Wow.
People don't realize the food that we eat, the bacteria break it down and they digest it, and then we are consuming what the bacteria are excreting out.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole thing with raw foods is when they're left in their natural way, we're not removing water-soluble vitamins, because when you cook things, the steam, leaves, and often that breaks down and reduces the nutrition of the water-soluble vitamins as well. So my diet now, I'm having obviously fruit. Mostly people are having raw, which is great because no one's cooking fruit.
Organic though, right?
Organic everything. Kind of goes without saying, but
Yeah.
I should say it. Organic food, as close to your local area as possible, local farmers markets, and then raw food in terms of the animal products, meat and dairy, and you'll feel a million times better than you would having cooked food. There's also something called enzymes. Enzymes are these chemical messengers that are responsible for pretty much every process in the body. There are trillions of these processes in every cell going on all the time. If the food that we're taking in is lacking in enzymes because we've cooked it, then we're no longer increasing the enzymes that we have in our body from the external. So we have to deplete our internal reserves of these enzymes to do all the things that make us live.
Right.
Over time, that depletes and leads to things like aging, where otherwise, if someone was having a raw diet full of these enzymes, and there are also, of course, supplements that you can have that have enzymes within them, everything just works better.
One of the common critiques of the raw diet is you're going to get parasites. You recently took a parasite cleanse and nothing came up, right?
Parasite Test.
Parasite test, yeah.
Yeah. So the practitioner that I did the test with, I was talking to her about my raw diet, and she hadn't really been exposed to those ideas before. And so she was like, oh, what are we going to see? Like, probably going to have a few parasites there. But she was astounded because no one is going to have zero parasites in their body. It's not really how the body works.
Right.
Some people argue that parasites and bacteria are only feeding on waste matter and dead matter or heavy metals and things like that in the body. So they're like the cleanup crew in the body. So this causes problems when people are living unhealthily, they're not moving, they're not sweating, they're not excreting these toxins in the normal way.
Right.
So that the bacteria and parasites kind of have this like wonderland of waste material to go crazy on, and that's when it leads to disease and stuff. If you don't have that, they're going to naturally not going to be in high levels in the body, as well as living healthily, getting outside, sunlight. All of those things contribute as well.
Yeah.
For me, I'm doing that. I have the raw food diet from high quality local farmers, and I'm not eating garbage from Walmart and stuff like that. And it turned out my parasite levels were pretty much zero.
Wow.
Like I said, there aren't going to be zero parasites in the body, but she was very, very surprised.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
And you've never done a cleanse before, right?
I have a couple times. There are some herbal cleanses that you can do, again, all natural. There's ivermectin, which is the pharmaceutical anti-parasitical medication that you can take sometimes. But I never really noticed a massive difference from doing it. And when I did do it, it was upwards of a year ago.
Got it.
And it was. I feel great. That's the other thing. If you have these high level of parasites in your body, you can usually feel like your digestion's off, your energy is low, maybe your brain is cloudy. I didn't really have any of that, so I wasn't expecting to see parasites, but it was a cool confirmation that the raw meat, when it's high quality, when it's fresh, is not going to contribute to that. At least it wasn't in my case.
Wow. I'm excited to, because I order medium rare right now, but I'm going to slowly work my way.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with raw milk, see how I like that.
You have never tried it?
No, I've never tried raw milk, and I haven't drank milk in 10 years.
Yeah.
Because it's just gross.
You don't like it?
No.
And it's just pasteurized that you've had, right?
Yeah, just pasteurized.
Yeah. So, you're going to Los Angeles. They have raw milk in the store there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Erewhon?
Erewhon, Sprouts,
Nice.
Whole Foods.
I'll definitely try
well.
it tomorrow.
Raw milk. What I would recommend is to have it with a little bit of honey or maple syrup.
Okay.
Both of which have enzymes that will help you digest it, and it just tastes delicious.
Good to know.
Yeah.
You are not a fan of plastic.
No, sir.
You asked me on the way here, do you have a glass water bottle? And I also saw you tweet, you don't use plastic cutting boards.
Yeah. So plastic in general is, first of all, what is plastic? People don't realize that it's actually a synthetic derivative of oil. And there's a bunch of chemical processes that go into it to create this material that's used in many different things. The largest contributor to microplastics in humans today is bottled water. So buying water from the store that's contained in plastic, obviously there's going to be a bit of the leaking of the microplastic particles into the water that you drink. Then you drink that, it's going to be in the body.
Right.
Why do we not want that? Microplastics and a whole bunch of other endocrine disrupting chemicals that are in plastic affect our hormones, affect our biology. So you can actually get phytoestrogens, lower your testosterone, impact your fertility in a number of ways. It's just generally toxic to the body. It's this synthetic chemical process thing that people don't really realize because maybe they'll have some plastic water and they don't feel instantly worse, for example. But over time, again, if you don't have these natural toxins leaving the body in the usual ways, it builds up. And that's what's leading to the infertility crisis that we have today, lower testosterone in general in men. And it's fairly simple to control and get out of your life. So choosing glass for water bottles, try to avoid plastic in the food that you have. And another big one is polyester. Polyester is a form of plastic.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So most gym wear today is made of polyester because it's stretchy, it's tight. People like that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
It's just what's marketed today. Yoga pants, leggings for girls. All of that is formed from this chemical derivative, polyester, which is a form of plastic. The skin itself is the most absorbable organ that we have in the body. And anything that we put on the skin is going to affect and be absorbed into the body. So you really got to consider, what am I putting onto my body and what are my clothes made of? Because with polyester gym wear especially, when you're working out, you're getting hot and your sweat pores are opening. Sweat pores are meant to release toxins from the body, but you're also, because they're opened, when you're exercising, you're going to be absorbing more as well. So if you have these polyester fibers on you, the microplastics are going to be absorbed into your skin. And everyone that I've mentioned this to, and then they make the shift to organic cotton and linen in general, it's just like this better feeling. Like you literally feel better when you're only wearing natural fibers.
Yeah.
A big one that I want to stress for guys is wearing tight polyester boxers and underwear.
I used to wear those.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't worn underwear in years now.
What?
Yeah.
You just go naked?
Free
or-
ball.
Wow.
Yeah. Free ball, because the testicles themselves, when you're compressing them, they're getting less blood flow and less lymph flow.
Yeah.
So the machinery doesn't work as well. It can
Damn.
actually literally lower your testosterone and impact your sperm count if you have tight polyester material boxes that like scrunch everything up.
Wow. Yeah, they really do scrunch it, to be honest. So
There was a study that they did on dogs where they put polyester underwear on dogs, and after a few weeks, they were infertile.
what?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Few
Yeah.
weeks?
Yeah, a few weeks.
Dude, I wonder if that translates to humans. That's pretty crazy.
It definitely does.
Wow.
You know, guys that I have recommended to do that, they say, man, I'm more sexually kind of charged. I have better erections and things like
Insane. So you got to either wear cotton or go free ball then.
pretty much.
Wow. And your bed sheets too.
That's another massive one. Check the tag on the bed sheets that we're spending, a third of our life in. It's pretty much rolling around in a plastic bag if you have polyester sheets.
That is crazy. So many things you got to dodge. Toothpaste, laundry detergent. I mean, I just found out toilet paper now.
Yeah.
Literally everything we use on a daily basis is some way toxic, right?
Yeah. And it can be somewhat overwhelming to consider when you first learn these things. But as I always say to people, control what you can control in your life. And anything that you can't control, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We do have control over the food we eat, the water we drink, the clothes that we wear, what's in the home itself. So what did you mention there? Toilet paper has BPA. BPA is in plastic as well, bisphenols that can impact our hormones. Obviously, you don't want to put that on your body. And then laundry detergent, fluoride-containing toothpaste, any of these things that are going to be in our close environment that can be absorbed through our skin, through our mouth, through our gums. I was mentioning to you about the rosemary.
Yeah.
Anything that we're putting in our mouth and in our gums, there are blood vessels that soak that up, and then it's instantly close to the brain because obviously your mouth is close to the brain. So toothpaste specifically, if it contains fluoride, will be absorbed and uptake into the brain and calcify your pineal gland, which is the seat of our spirituality. And that is, the extension of that is people are more cut off from our spirituality, from our connection to God, if they're using fluoride toothpaste. And, it sounds out there, it sounds whack, but the more people that I see, I talk to in my own life, when you stop using that, you align closer with nature in general, you do feel this kind of high level of spirituality and spiritual energy.
Absolutely. I agree. I put all my friends off of that fluoride toothpaste, and I used it my whole childhood, man.
Same.
It's crazy.
We're told that that's good for your teeth cavities. Like teeth cavities are really a malnutrition issue. Just like if you have weak bones, you don't have the nutrients to repair bone cells. Our teeth are the same. It's nothing to do really with needing toxic fluoride in our diet or in our toothpaste.
Yeah, when you go to get a teeth cleaning, they just put that all over your mouth. Fluoride. Straight fluoride. It's disgusting, dude. You walk out of there an NPC, man. You can't even think for yourself at that point.
Fluoride stare. Just, I don't care.
Yeah, I want to talk about the spiritual side. You go on hikes every Sunday, right, in nature?
I try to.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think being in nature is very healing, right?
The most healing. We're so cut off from that in a lot of ways in today's world. It can be as simple as, you don't have mountains nearby or whatever, or you don't have the time to go on these huge hikes. It can be as simple as walking nearby to your local park and just taking your shoes off and connecting with the Earth's electromagnetic field through your feet. This is what is called grounding. Grounding is aligning our electromagnetic field, because each human has that as well. Our heart is an electromagnetic field generator. So when we connect to the Earth, there are these electrical forces which rebalance our body's electrical field, and everything works better, decreases inflammation. And it can be as simple as that. Even our eyes, if we are viewing green of a forest or a park and even just grass, that has a healing effect and a calming effect on our brains and our bodies, just seeing that. Same with blue. And most people in cities, they're only experiencing gray buildings,
right.
Roads, bitumen. This was the case for me as well, but some people have gone years with never having been in touch with either sand, dirt, grass, whatever, with their bare feet.
Wow.
Maybe they do go outside on hikes, but they're always wearing shoes. What are shoes made out of? Rubber. Rubber is an insulator, so you're not going to get that electric field transition if you're wearing shoes outside. So like I said, if you can get out for a few hours and hike in the forest and take your shirt off and get out in the sun and connect, really breathe in the microbiome of these natural environments, that's going to be awesome. But if you can't do that, just take your shoes off and get to your local park. Even in cities, like that is very, very doable. 15 minutes is enough to get that positive grounding effect on your body.
I love that. So getting out in the sun, that being said, are you wearing sunscreen?
I haven't worn sunscreen for upwards of close to 10 years, I would say.
Wow. No sunburn?
No sunburn.
Impressive.
So this is the thing. Sunscreen itself, remember what I was saying about anything you put on the skin is going to be absorbed into the body.
Yeah.
Sunscreen itself is this white chemical goop which has the chemicals that block the sun rays, or not even all of them, but a specific wavelength of the UV rays, which is actually beneficial for us. The issue comes when people are indoors all day, under blue lights only, they don't get any sun, but then they'll go on holiday and they'll usually go to a very tropical latitude where the sun is stronger, and they haven't had that slow exposure up to the sun, so they'll just get blasted for a few hours. They're usually wearing sunglasses and sunscreen, which removes that natural kind of, hey, my skin's feeling a bit red and hot, I should get it in the shade. You know, there's that natural feedback mechanism which people cut out when they're using sunscreen and wearing sunglasses as well. So sunscreen is this, like, again, there's endocrine disrupting chemicals within sunscreen. They had to have a recall of a lot of brands recently because they finally found out that these were cancer-causing chemicals in the sunscreen that people just apply, you know, really directly to their bodies. So if you've never, you know, if you've only used sunscreen out and about, I would say stop using it entirely. If you are feeling that you've had a lot of sun exposure, put on a long sleeve t-shirt, wear a cap. These are perfectly fine and normal ways to reduce your sun exposure if you've had enough on that day that don't require these, you know, chemical slops of sunscreen. Slowly work your way up, 15 minutes at a time. If you're like, most people haven't even had their shirt off for years in the UV. So just slowly work your way up. Make sure that you're getting sunrise. You're outside looking at the sun during those early morning times, because at sunrise and sunset, the UV is very, very low and it's higher in red light. And specifically when we're getting those wavelengths of light into our eyes, it actually tells your body how to withstand the later, stronger UV rays. So that's a very important key, slowly improving the amount of time that you're spending out in the sun. And for me, genetically, I'm English. You know, if you look under my hair on my neck, it's pretty pasty. That's how I used to be. I'm quite tan now. However, that was just from years of kind of slowly increasing my, what's called my solar callus, which is just like you have callus on your fingers, on your hands, you can increase your tolerance. And now I live in Australia. I can go out for hours in the day and not be sunburnt. Maybe there are some level of a red skin, but that is, you know, natural vasodilation of the blood vessels. And as you sleep overnight, you'll be fine in the morning. There's none of that like explosive sunburn peeling and all of that.
I used to get that. I actually heard also if you cut out seed oils, it helps you not get sunburnt, which I noticed a direct impact.
So seed oils are these very unstable materials. It's actually, seed oils used to be an engine lubricant. They used to pour it into engines in order to make the machinery go better. When the war finished, they needed to remarket and resell all of this canola oil, vegetable oil that they had that was used for machinery. So they actually created a lot of these campaigns, marketing campaigns, to repackage it as a cooking oil. So now you really have to think about this. Oh, it's just seed oils, you know, whatever. I'll have it once off. It doesn't matter. But would you go into a garage and pick up like a bottle of engine oil and then cook your food in that? No, that seems ridiculous. But that's literally what's happening today. And it's so, you know, every deep fryer, pretty much every restaurant or fast food place that you go to will use it because it's cheaper than things like olive oil or coconut oil or butter, animal-based things like tallow, which is beef fat. So again, it's mostly profit-driven, but because it's an unstable oil, when we apply heat to it, like we do when we're out in the sun, any fat that you have is going to form the walls of your cells. That's what the walls of our cells are made of. If the only fat or a high percentage of the fat that you're eating are these, toxic seed oils, your skin becomes very unstable and it actually sits in the external parts of the skin. Then we apply heat from the sun, and because they're unstable, because they don't have these binded oxygen molecules or oxygen bonds, they kind of break apart. And that's how you get that really bad sunburn, along with all the different other chemicals, sunscreen as well. But you clean up your diet, you live in a natural way, you slowly increase your tolerance to the sun, and you're not going to get sunburnt, and you're going to get all the benefits of sunlight for our health.
Absolutely. You're also big on, I know we're talking a lot about beaches, just stepping into the ocean water.
Oh, it's what I would recommend to anyone that's feeling sick. All you have to do is look at the health of coastal populations compared to people that don't have the ocean there. There are several things that go into that. As I mentioned before, grounding. Water itself is a source of these negative ions. The natural movement of the waves or rivers or lakes and waterfalls, they create this negative ion charge. Then we're going to go swimming in that. Our body's just permeating and absorbing. Like if you have your feet on the grass, that's one way, but swimming itself, like you've got it all over you if you're going underwater.
Wow.
So that's one aspect of the ocean that's so healing, as well as the mineral content of the ocean. Ocean water has every single mineral on the periodic table in these naturally occurring amounts and ratios. That is super, super healing for our bodies. I know guys that have had eczema for years and years. Maybe they move to the coast and they start swimming every day. Eczema clears up in a few days.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So there's so many healing benefits to the beach. If you go to the beach, you're usually getting sunlight as well.
Yeah.
But it's the most powerful thing, and I wouldn't live anywhere else but the coast because of that. If you don't have the ocean and the beach, just finding a local watering hole, lake, you're going to get a lot of the similar benefits from that.
I had a guest on. Do you know Gavin Mayo?
No.
Okay, so he doesn't take showers because of tap water, and he only bathes in the ocean. Are you like that as well?
I'm not as hardcore. I had a friend who has done the same. He hasn't had a shower in years because he lives near the ocean, and that's entirely possible. You don't need to have a shower to get clean as long as it's good quality ocean water. But tap water itself, you shouldn't be drinking tap water because it's the processing that we have to like make tap water drinkable again, or the word is potable, like drinking water. They don't get to, like, they're well intended, of course. We're filtering out a lot of the garbage. It looks like clear water in most places, hopefully. However, you're not getting rid of all the other chemicals and things that the water filtration system is not really designed to pick up or remove. So all of the things that we put into our waterways, chemicals, cleaning ingredients, medications from other people that are being excreted when they urinate, all of that is kind of in the system of tap water still. So you're drinking that, you're putting that into your body, as well as fluoride. They add fluoride to the water, and that's how you get the, tap water makes you an NPC, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So as far as only going in the ocean, if you can do that, great. But they're also, you can filter your shower water. You can filter your tap water. There are some devices you just attach to the shower head itself. And that'll filter out a lot of the stuff, a lot of the most harmful stuff. Chlorine is another big one.
That's in tap water?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that. I thought it was in swimming pools.
Well, it is in that as well. However, it does exist because they use it to kill the bacteria, whatever else in tap water. It's part of like making it safe to drink again.
Wow.
It's actually one of the largest drivers of cancer in the world today.
Damn.
Is chlorine. So
that's crazy.
Get a tap water filter. I travel everywhere. You can get some that just screw on and screw off. Ideally, you have a whole house filter system, or you live somewhere, like there are some German mountain towns that I've visited where they have a natural spring from the mountains that just feeds into the town. Ideally, we have something like that. And then the tap water itself is great. But you're in a place like Las Vegas or most American cities, the tap water is not something that you should be drinking on a daily basis.
Definitely not. Why do you believe people shouldn't say the word sick?
You just said it before.
I know,
did you catch that?
I know, that's why I asked. I said it in a different way, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about words, right, is that they, just like everything that is in the world right now, is a form of vibrating energy in different forms, at different speeds, and at different levels of energy. our words and thoughts and actions, they're also the same. They're putting out some level of energy. They're affecting our body and our biology in the same way. So with words like sick, what does the word sick mean? Unhealthy, whatever else. It seems to be this cultural byproduct right now of our age group and, the media that's being pushed out to people is that everyone says, oh, that's sick, bro. That's so sick. Like anything that's marginally positive or cool it's sick.
Yeah.
So if you have that repeating over and over in your subconscious, our subconscious doesn't really interpret, oh, he's saying that in a positive way, because the word itself has a resonant energy that's going to be not ideal. That is one part of it. The other part of it is I just think it's intellectually lazy to say sick. Like, let's expand our vocabularies. Let's use awesome, amazing, incredible, fantastic. There are so many different better words, and even just saying them, that makes you feel better. And part of what we experience in the world is based on what our subconscious is putting out, and the words that we say are the thoughts that we have. If you have these negative thoughts going on all the time, you're saying sick, dope. There's a few others which are, again, these kind of low energetic based words. And when you're conscious of that language, you're no longer reinforcing it to your subconscious, and you'll find that you just feel better and things kind of work out better in your life because you yourself, your electromagnetic field is putting out these high levels of energy. Energy attracts similar energy, so that you're going to be just on a higher wavelength. People will kind of, maybe they reject this because it sounds like magic or whatever. Well, when we say, oh, the vibe isn't right, that guy has a weird vibe. What are we talking about there? Vibe is short for vibration. It's a vibration of energy. It's a wavelength. These are things that are measurable with scientific equipment, and our thoughts, words, feelings, they're all the same. So when we say things like sick, I would just, I would challenge people to just like be conscious of saying that, because with repetition, it's going to have some net negative effect that would just be better if we were using higher quality words.
That's marvelous. How about that?
Yeah, fantastic.
I'll work on that. Yeah, it's a bad habit. I say sick and dope a lot. I need to change that. I agree though. Words definitely have a lot of power, man. Speaking of like energy fields and all this Wi-Fi and EMF stuff, do you believe that that's actually causing harm to the body?
Yes. Yeah. So non-native EMF, like I said, the Earth has an electromagnetic field. We have an electromagnetic field. The issues arise when we have these bits of technology which are emitting non-native EMFs to the world, and we're not really conscious of that because we cannot see it. But that is an energy field that's being blasted out on a daily basis. Mobile phone towers, Wi-Fi. It's actually very obvious because you can put a plant next to your Wi-Fi router and then a plant in the other room. The plant next to the Wi-Fi router is going to grow at a lower speed.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be an unhealthier plant. That's like, they've done studies to show this. There are mechanisms like our calcium channels in our cells which get affected when we have these different EMF fields blasting at us. One of the reasons people feel better in nature is because they're usually getting away from man-made environments that have these cell phone towers and Wi-Fi signals that are messing up our cells' electrical fields, and then nothing is going to work as well in the body. So I would recommend people turn your Wi-Fi router off at night. If you have neighbors that have their Wi-Fi fields, can't control that.
So it reaches that far?
Yeah, well, all you have to do is, if you're in an apartment building, look at what Wi-Fi networks are available. If your phone is picking it up, then it's permeating into that area.
Damn, I have like 15 at my house, bro, that show up. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's essentially like a microwave that's cooking us just at a very slow rate.
Holy crap. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's levels to this. Even the light bulbs now, I'm hearing, are bad for you.
Yeah. So again, the light bulbs that we have today are these energy efficient LEDs, artificial blue light, really. And it's the same as what's emitting out of our mobile phones and our computer screens and our televisions. The lights we have on the street nowadays, they're made to be energy efficient and all the rest of it. This is an isolated spectrum of light. So the spectrum of light ranges from stuff that we can't see into visible light spectrum, which is a very, very small part of this electromagnetic frequency. They're vibrating at different levels, and that's what means we can see it or we can't see it. With artificial blue light, we have this very small spectrum of that, and it doesn't have these other wavelengths of light that might be present in natural sunlight. The sun itself has blue light in it, and that's good. But it's when it's this isolated artificial blue light that is, being blasted into our eyes most of the day, indoor lighting, fluorescent lights in the gym is another example of that. But this light energy has an effect so different than just into our eyes. It can change how well you digest food and how much fat you have on the body. That whole stereotype of the nerd who's on his computer all day, part of the fat and part of the hormones and things that are making him less optimal and less healthy is because of the blue light environment. What I recommend to people is to, of course, maximize as much natural sunlight and getting outside as possible, minimize the amount of blue light that you have inside your house. For the most part, you don't really need lights until the sun has gone down. Once the sun has gone down, we really don't want these artificial blue lights, so instead use stuff like candles, or you can get what are called incandescent light bulbs. Incandescent light bulbs are the technology that we first created, like the first light bulb that was made. It's this filament of metal, and then the current passes through it, and it heats that metal up. So it's like this orange, warmer light, and it's because it's based off the heat rather than just this, bit of technology that's the LED version. If you can get incandescent light bulbs, replace that in your home, even then, our brains are aligned with the natural cycle of the sun. So we don't want to be using a lot of light sources once the sun has gone down. Viewing the sunrise and the sunset as well are ways to really time your brain for that to the point where artificial blue light isn't going to have as much of an effect. But, all you have to do to think about how this is affecting us is how do you feel after staring at a computer screen all day? Your eyes are frazzled, like you just have headaches is a really common one, and migraines.
Yeah.
All of that is really a result of your body getting this light information blasted into you, which is not how it is in the natural world. Animals outside aren't just staring at a mobile phone like that, getting blasted. Everyone knows that these things affect your sleep. But there's so many other different carryovers that I would recommend to people. Incandescent light bulbs, turn lights off as much as possible. Yeah. And you can also get blue light blocking glasses.
Yeah, I have that built into my prescription.
Yeah, nice, perfect. I like Raw Optics. They're my favorite brand. I have a collaboration with them coming out, which I designed a frame.
Sick.
So if not sick.
Ah, damn it. Keep doing it. Wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful. So, we're in the modern world. We're not going to be able to control, again, the lights that other people put on, the street lights, but there actually are these tools where the blue light doesn't get through these frames. Yeah. Our eyes are the most photosensitive areas of our body, so we can just have a little bit of equipment that blocks that as much as possible, and then, using low light salt lamps or dim red lights, and what you'll find is you'll fall asleep a lot quicker and you'll be more rested and more chill.
Love it. Marvelous. Speaking of sleep, are you still mouth taping?
I am. Nice. I mouth taped last night.
Same. I love it. I noticed I split tested, like 1 week I didn't, the next week I did. My sleep was way better.
Yeah. So why is your sleep better if you tape your mouth? First of all, we should only be breathing through our nose. The nose is for breathing. The mouth is for eating. Most people, you ever heard the term mouth breather? Yeah. Oh, he's a mouth breather. Like, why is that kind of seen as an insult? It's because if you're dumb, it's like, oh, you're mouth breathing. It's this kind of unnatural way to breathe. So as much as possible, even if you're not mouth taping, but throughout the day, close your mouth. Your nose has mechanisms like the nose hair that filters it. It increases your blood flow better if you're breathing through your nose instead of the mouth. And you also don't have moisture issues, like it moistens the air if you're breathing through your nose. When it comes to sleep, nasal breathing involves the diaphragm, which is one of the muscles in here in the core of the body. Yeah. When we breathe through the nose and we use the diaphragm, we're moving down here. When we move down there, the spine moves, and it's this kind of spine pulsing that happens. When that's happening all throughout the night, the spine is moving subtly. We get a movement of the cerebrospinal fluid that leads up into your brain. Sleep is restorative because that fluid is being refreshed and the brain cells are being repaired and all things like that. If we're mouth breathing, we're not getting that same movement of that cerebrospinal fluid. Therefore, the brain isn't going to heal, and we don't get that refreshed feeling when we are waking up in the morning. So mouth taping will just keep your mouth shut. Obviously, that's going to force you to nasal breathe. One of the reasons we kind of have to do this, or maybe it's a temporary tool to use, ideally we don't need mouth tape. Ideally, we are naturally nasal breathing throughout the night, and this goes back to people's jaw development is being impeded by modern foods and lack of nutrition and not chewing properly enough because our food is all mushy these days. But that's like another part of it. Mouth taping itself is just an incredible way to kind of just force nasal breathing only throughout the night. And you'll find you won't wake up with that dry mouth feeling, and you'll be, much more rested. And you've obviously experienced that.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. You mentioned chewing, and I want to talk about your chewing methods. So you chew until it's mostly liquid.
Yes.
The food.
Yes.
So you're chewing probably 100 times each bite.
100 is a little much. Okay. But so the thing with digestion, a lot of people think that just because it goes into the body, I'm eating it and I'm digesting it totally. Or maybe they just haven't even thought about it. That's not necessarily the case. The process of eating starts in the mouth, and the more surface area and saliva that we can mix throughout the food, and the more surface area that we can create by chewing and breaking the parts of food apart, the better that's going to be absorbed in the gut once it goes inside. Even when you do that, it's not all being absorbed. Ideally it is, but that's not necessarily the case with food. So what you'll find is if you're eating something like a steak and you have this big chunk and you're not really thinking about things, you're distracted, you'll chew a few times and then you'll just swallow. But there's actually, the inside of that big chunk of steak, which hasn't been mixed with saliva, and saliva is going to break down the tissue of whatever food you're eating. It inputs these chemical signals which tell your gut what kind of food it is, and therefore like how to digest it properly. So the more that you can chew until it's pretty much what a liquid in the body, and then you swallow, your digestion is going to be better. Liquid foods in general are great for this. And we can also pre-chew our meals. We're not literally pre-chewing it, but if we're cutting it up into little pieces, if we're blending it in a smoothie, if we are drinking things like raw milk or raw eggs, which are pretty much liquid, you'll find that digests better because it's already chewed up into this very absorbable form.
Wow, you're eating raw eggs?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like I said, raw animal foods.
They teach you raw eggs are like not good for you growing up.
Well, it's the fear. It's the fear about salmonella bacteria, right? That's the big one that they say. Salmonella bacteria is in you and I right now, and it's helping us, and it's breaking things down and digesting. If we didn't have salmonella bacteria inside us, we wouldn't be able to digest some things. The issue, again, when there's a higher level of wastes, toxins, and the salmonella bacteria can get out of whack. Raw eggs themselves from a healthy animal on a good farm, I've had thousands.
Wow.
All of my friends, like over the years, thousands of raw eggs. Never once got sick with salmonella or whatever else.
Damn.
Yeah. So pre-chewing food, mostly liquid, making sure that we're intentional about thinking and chewing. You're going to like a lot of bloating and stuff that people experience today is simply because they're not chewing enough. So focusing on digestion and the absorption of nutrients in all these different ways is very, very impactful on our health.
Yeah, I'll be more cognizant of that.
Yeah.
In terms of supplements, I know you're all natural. Is there any natural herb supplements you take on a daily basis?
Yeah, so most days I'm having, let's just run through my normal day, water with electrolytes. Electrolytes in the form of a natural sea salt and a natural lake salt.
Lake salt?
Yeah. So the ones that I take, which I sell, soul supplements, they're called soul salts. Hydration actually is not due to the amount of water that you're intaking. Hydration is due to the amount of electrolytes that we have, which is sometimes in high quality water, but it's also in a lot of other foods. Fruit is very hydrating because it contains these vitamins and minerals, particularly things like magnesium, sodium, potassium, that actually get into our cells and absorb the water into the cells and allow us to actually hold the water. Because if you're just drinking a bunch of empty water, you're actually leaching these minerals out of the cells and dehydrating yourself further.
Wow.
Yeah. So as far as that supplement, I add it to my water most days. If I'm trying to rehydrate in the morning, a lot of headaches is a result of dehydration. So if you get a glass of water, you add these natural salt electrolytes and a bit of lemon juice, and you drink that, your headache's going to be gone in 15 minutes.
Dang, lemon juice. I thought lemon makes you more thirsty.
Not in my experience.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's one supplement that I take. I also take bison liver.
Bison liver.
Bison testicles.
Liver King.
Yeah. These are both things that, I sell. But as far as supplements, if you can get just a form of a natural food in a capsule, that's still kind of like you're eating the food. It's not necessarily a supplement. These are the best supplements to take in general. I also take magnesium, which is a natural mineral. Magnesium being the master anti-stress mineral. You're going to feel a lot more relaxed. And also your mitochondria, which is the energy powerhouse of the cell, as everyone knows. That's going to function better if you have high levels of magnesium in the body. What else do I take? Glycine for sleep. Glycine. The simplest amino acid. Your REM sleep is going to be deeper when you're having glycine.
Wow.
You'll feel more refreshed in the morning, so I take that a lot. And there's a few others I can put in the show notes or whatever for people that are interested in all the supplements. With supplements, you don't want to be taking everything every day.
Yeah.
If you have particular health issues that may need a particular supplement, then a bit of research is needed to say, okay, how do I feel? Am I low energy? Maybe I need B vitamins more. Am I high strung, stressed all the time? Yeah, something like magnesium or L-theanine might be more applicable. Not taking everything every day, I don't believe in that. And if you're getting nutrition from whole food sources and you have an incredible diet, then most of the time you're not going to need supplements. I take glycine. However, glycine is very high in things like bone broth. So if you were able to make a high quality bone broth and drink that in the evenings as well, that would be objectively better than the supplement. And that's the whole nature knows best argument that I try to push out to people.
Now, I'm assuming you've probably done blood tests on your testosterone levels.
Yep.
Do you remember the number?
I don't.
It was high though.
The testosterone was high. There are other things. So there's that's one aspect of blood tests. Your testosterone can be high, but if you have SHBG, which is high, which is sex hormone binding globule, if that is high, then the amount of testosterone circulating throughout your body, the free testosterone, which is what activates our androgen receptors and creates the muscle and things like that, your testosterone may be high, but the free circulating testosterone may be lower than it could be. So there are, blood tests are, they give you numbers, but you have to be able to interpret them.
Right.
I felt great. I did think the number that I had was going to be higher, but, it is what it is.
Yeah.
The thing with blood tests as well, with people to understand is that, yes, you're drawing blood at one particular isolated time of the day. Our testosterone levels are such that they can be half in the morning of what they are in the afternoon because of what we've eaten, the stress that we may have had, our hydration levels. And so blood tests themselves are great, but I would recommend people take, several blood tests if they are investigating their health in general.
Yeah.
Several blood tests at different times so they get a more clearer picture. Because it's the same thing that happens sometimes if you go into a doctor's office with one particular symptom. They look at that symptom and they say, you have this disease. Yeah. And now you think, oh man, I've got this disease. I've got low testosterone, whatever it is. But it's only because they've been isolating and looking at this one particular point in time and then extrapolating that to everything else. Right. It may have been you had Cheetos the night before and your stomach's going to be upset. Does that mean you have irritated bowel syndrome? No. So there's much more to the picture than just looking at a particular point in time with tests sometimes.
Absolutely. That being said, I did measure my testosterone. So it was 500 last year and my free testosterone was in the red. I forget the number.
Yeah.
I've since doubled it. And I know you're part of the no-fap semen retention movement.
Yeah.
So that to me is interesting because I think a year ago I probably could have done that with ease.
Yeah.
But now I wake up every day, it's you know what I mean? Like it's definitely harder.
What do you mean?
Just like I'm more...
You're
what's
harder,
the word?
literally?
Yeah, I'm literally harder. It's that interests me because I'm assuming your levels are around mine, and you're still doing semen retention.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean now.
Yeah.
It's it's hard to kind of not do that, right?
Yeah.
So semen retention in general. NoFap is that particular internet movement that has gained traction. That's obvious. I think that should go without saying. There's NoFap. You shouldn't be touching yourself, shouldn't be masturbating, shouldn't be looking at porn. These are highly damaging to your mental state, also your biology, if you're constantly ejaculating. Semen retention itself. Semen is it's very biologically costly. It's high. It takes a lot of energy to produce. There are a lot of vitamins and minerals inside it that have to come from your body and have to come from your diet in order to produce. So if you're constantly losing that externally, then there's less that's going on for your body, and there's less that's available to repair your cells and things like that. So that's a very scientific view of it all. The other side of it is that sexual energy in general is our creative energy. Sex is the ultimate act of creation because we are creating new life.
Right.
That is what the process is designed for, right? So if we're losing all of our maximum creative energy through these, constantly ejaculating or whatever, then you're going to be less able to bring creation of other things into the world. There's this concept called chi energy, which is just the energy that permeates everything. If you feel like you're more energized, you have more chi within you.
Right.
That naturally happens when you practice semen retention because, everyone knows the feeling of they haven't done that for a while. They're more charged up. They're more motivated to talk to girls. You have less confidence issues, lower anxiety, more drive to go after your masculine goals in life. These are natural effects of intentionally limiting the amount that you're ejaculating semen. Now, if you're a high test guy, you obviously have a sex drive. The power lies within when you're able to consciously, feel that. It doesn't necessarily mean I have to go pursue that urge to its completion. And there's also, I'm at the point now where maybe I'm with a partner and I'm having sex, but I'm not ejaculating.
You're wild.
Yeah, well, no, something really cool happens is once you remove that end state point of just like, I'm thinking about the orgasm at the end of it, you become more involved in the process and you become more present. And you also access these higher levels of sexual energy where you can connect with your partner, your girl, so much on a more pure level.
Spiritual
level, exactly. Sexual energy exchange. It's all spiritual energy as well. When you come and have sex with someone, you are merging energetic fields. This is why you shouldn't be having casual sex with people that you don't know,
right? Because
you're allowing their energy into your field, and that can, even though you part ways, now your energy fields are merged on some level, and that can have a whole host of effects. Back in the day when marriage used to be on the wedding night, the actual act of marrying someone, what are we really doing? We're writing our names on a bit of paper. Cool, now we're married.
Yeah.
They used to think that, and I think it's true in a lot of ways today, is that the first marriage is the first time you have sex with someone because you're marrying your energetic fields, and obviously you open yourself up to possibly having children with that person.
Right.
So you really got to think about, I'm having sex with this person. Maybe we could have a kid together. Do I want their energetic imprint connecting with mine? You have to just elevate yourself on a certain level rather than just thinking about, they're sexually attractive and this would be fun.
Yeah.
And I haven't always thought this way, but I can definitely say that the more that you're intentional with your sexual energy, you're conscious of who you're having sex with, and then also once you're in a committed relationship, you hit the point where, I'm not going to ejaculate this time. And then, the feeling of after you finish as a guy and then you're just drained.
Yeah,
it's go to sleep, whatever. You don't get that if you're not ejaculating, and you can continue going if you wanted to, or you can go about the rest of your day with that energy just kind of rising up and up, and it increases over time. The longer that you focus this energy and the longer you go without ejaculation. So it's a really powerful tool, both biologically, spiritually, creatively. You need less sleep. It's really, really powerful, and I think something that every guy should consider.
Love that. So, Brah, it's been fun, man. Where can people find you, and do you have anything to promote?
Sure. So my book is out now, The Soul Way. by me, Soul Brah. It's a collection of how I view the world philosophically, spiritually, biologically. So that's on Amazon, The Soul Way. Otherwise, I'm Soul Brah on all social networks. Hit me up.
All right. We'll link it below. Thanks for coming on, man.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thanks for watching as always, guys. See you next time.